All right, so now we're going to cover properties in CSS. And first thing they start talking about is the box model. So you've kind of dealt with the box model a little bit in other videos I've done, just showing, like creating using divs and creating borders and whatnot. What we really haven't talked about is padding. Padding is used to add like space in between elements. So let's go ahead and kind of demonstrate that. They probably talk about it later, but let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and create a div, and we'll call it equals first div. First div. And create another div right next to it. First thing, if we just have it go naturally, it's not going to stay on the same line. Wait, do I have CSS in here? Okay, hold on. Okay, it's not going to stay on the same line because it's by default, it's going to have a new element go to a new line. And so the first thing we need to do, so I'm going to have these like right next to each other to demonstrate some stuff. So first thing, so let's do first, what was it? First div. We're going to do display inline because we want them in line, one right after the other. And we need to do the same thing for the second div. Display inline. So now clear our cache and refresh. Now they're going to be on the same line, right? But now we want to go ahead and talk about padding. So for padding is you don't necessarily want everything right next to each other. So to give a little bit of space so they're not like right on top of each other, like as soon as this ends, it goes to the next one. We just add a little bit of padding. So, or to do that, or not padding, but we'll add a margin. So we'll do margin left. So to the left of the second element, let's give it, 20 pixels of space for the margin before we go ahead and keep going with stuff. So see, it adds a little bit of space there for the margin. Okay, and you can do padding too. So let's add a little bit of padding. Let's add padding right. And let's do another 20 pixels. So now we got the 20 pixels from our margin to the left and our 20 pixels of padding to the right. And we got a lot of space before anything starts. So now padding, as you see here, like if we did now let's add a border, right? So we'll do it to, so we added padding to this one. So if we added a border, where's our border style? Border style, let's do a solid line for the border, right? Clear it, there we go. So as you see, it's adding inside, it's adding the padding here, as opposed to this one, if we did a border, so we could see what the element looks like. It's just adding the margin to the left of it, so that, yeah, we're not connecting to that next element, we're giving a little bit of space, but with this one, it's adding that space inside of the element. So if you're dealing with like borders and stuff, that comes into play. If you're not having borders, I mean, it's gonna kind of look the same. But anyway, so that's some padding, borders, and margins, and then and whatnot. So sure they'll talk about that later. Understanding the box model. Okay, and we've kind of covered some of this, like the height and width, in other videos. So I've covered, and we just kind of covered, padding, and then you can do padding. I just did left and right, but you could do like the top and whatnot. So but let's go ahead and throw in some height on this. So we've covered height before, but it's not one to do it. I was just saying that it's adding the total of like your borders, padding, and everything to do the total, figure out the total height of your element and whatnot. So borders. Well, we've kind of covered this, like the thickness of borders. So like, we want to make it 10 pixels. We already specified the style is solid, and then let's make it green. So like you can throw all that in there together, as opposed to like border color and specifying like the stuff. So like, hold on. Border color green. Hold on. Oh, it's because it's coming up with, it's because I'm not including all the stuff for the border, the size, style, and color. Okay, whatever. Let's just do this. Get rid of that. There you go. So yeah, if you want to just do border, you got to do size, style, and green, as opposed to doing like border size. Yeah, sorry, border width. I'll actually make it 15 pixels. Border style. Solid border color. So you can either do them separately or just do them all together, just with just border, and then specify both size, style, and color. Oh, and that's what they're getting into next. You can just do, border style solid, and then the width, whatever width you want. And you can leave out color because it'll default to black. So like if we got rid of that, it's going to default to black. And it's just showing you different sizes. Like you can make the style, or not size, the different styles. Like I don't have to do a solid line. I can do like dotted or dashed line. Or dotted line. So yeah, those are just, and there's other styles. Like I said, you can always Google and look up on W3 Schools the different stuff that's available. Properties, widths and heights. Okay, so we've okay, so we've been doing it, inline. So let's get rid of inline on these and break these up separate. Oops. Okay, so see, it's going to take up the whole thing if you're doing your border by breaking it up that way. So if you don't want it to be that big, right? So let's go ahead and add some width. And height. Or width 150 pixels. Right. Let's do 100 pixels. And then see, so now it's getting, you know, more specific for your width and height. So that your, you know, your div element is only going, you know, that far. So, and then if we want, so now this one, since it's in line, because it's not taking up the whole thing, right? The second element. So now we could add something else, you know, right here after it takes up its the amount of space it's used. And like we can always like keep going, adding on to it. And so like it'll expand with you know, auto by default as big as it takes up. So it's not covered here. I'm just letting you know. Guess I'm jumping ahead of myself a little. I'm telling you some of that stuff, but whatever. This really isn't saying anything new. And so if, okay, so we added space. So like with this, if the max width or the max width and the minimum width. So like right now, you know, it's like it's auto, right? So like this is taking up this much space. But if we decided to do, you know, max width, you know, 50 pixels. Hold on. The second one that I'm doing it on, yeah, max width. Oh, it's in line. So if we did the max width 50 pixels, then it's going to only let you go that far on the width. Now, let's say we didn't want to do, you know, max width. We wanted to do minimum width. And like make that like, let's make it a big old number, like, I don't know. Then, you know, and it's keep going, you know, past the thing, right? So let's do, you know, minimum width. Oh, well, it's taking up the whole screen because it's, hold on. Okay, with the minimum width, and let's say that it let's do this. Well, anyway, it's going to be at least minimum width's going to be at least that, you know, that width before, you know, breaking going down to the next line and everything. So and background color, we've kind of covered this, but like if we wanted to make the oops, color red, then yeah, there you go, it's red. Oh wait, and you can also do like hex colors, like I've talked about before, as your background color. And you can do it as, you know, RGB as opposed to a hex color, or you can just type it out like red, like right there. So now, if you want to add an image to your background as opposed to the, you know, just a color. So let's go ahead and first, let's go ahead and, all right, so this one's got a bigger size. So let's reference our static file. Oh, I don't have any pictures in there. Oh wait, yeah, I do. I have purple heart logo. Okay, so copy relative path. Now we're in the static folder, but hold on, is it reading it? Hold on. Okay, it's reading it. So it's actually here. Okay, so yeah, we still need to add static. Background image. And then we just got to do the URL. And add the quotes for it. Maybe it's not, doesn't need that. There we go. Okay, so I guess it's not in the static folder. But because the CSS is already in the static folder. Yeah. So just reference the name of it, don't include the static, and it'll add that image as your background image. And so let's just change our text color to white. Let's see it better over that image. and you can still, so you got to think about that too. When if you're adding an image, a background image to your div or whatnot, make sure you can see the text. So, oh, hey, Ture and Johnny, it's past 4. So if you guys want to go, you go. I'm gonna keep going on with the video, but you guys are good to go.
All right. You still in CSS?
Yeah. So I'll upload this video when I'm done. So like you can just watch the rest of it later.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right,
Have a good one.
have a good one.
Bye.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not doing anything but just walk up. Well, you stop sharing. Okay.
Sounds good. Oh, did it stop sharing?
No, it's sharing. I'm seeing it.
Oh, okay, cool. So with this, if we wanted to make all right, so we've got right now the width 150, but let's say we made it like, I don't know, 500, right? So it's automatically defaulting to repeating the background image. So like once it ran out of image, it just restarted the image. But if you had like no repeat in your previous CSS and stuff, and then, or we could do background repeat, and change it to no repeat. Then now it's not repeating, but you can also just leave it as px, or your x coordinates, and it's gonna keep repeating that way, and it's just gonna repeat anyway by default once it runs out of space. So, and repeat y if you want it to go down, like if we had like bigger, like let's make this 100 pixels. And now we want to do background repeat y for your y coordinates, and you thought you'd never use geometry. Then it's it'll repeat it that way. So okay. So if you want it to stay in spot, even if you're scrolling, and do background attachment fixed. So let's get rid of this. And we'll fix it in place. So like I'm scrolling and it's you know still staying, and by the default, since I only did background, since it's defaulting to do all that. But hold on, like let's make this smaller actually so we can see it better. Of course, I don't have anything at the bottom of my screen, so it's not really going to let me. But as you see, as I try and move, like if I had more, hold on, like I don't know. Now, so I've got some stuff I can scroll to there, and you can see the image stays fixed in the spot as I scroll through it. So and you can also do other stuff than fixed. You can do scroll. So let's do. Now it does scroll. It like goes like normal. So all right, so yeah, if you want to make your lists instead of like the default list stuff, so let's go into here. Let's get rid of this. So as opposed to just doing an ordered list, it's default. I don't even care. They can all be red. It's default. You know, just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? All right. Well, maybe we don't want it to be, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we want it to be a circle. So, and I mean, I'm just gonna do the all right, well, let's make this an unordered list. And then here, the unordered list. Now it's just this circle. Okay, well, maybe we don't want a circle. Maybe we want a square. So let's do, they're referencing the class, but I'm just gonna do all lists. So all unordered lists. Do list style type. Now here we go, list style type. And it's giving me all the little cool options. I'll make it a square. Yeah, there we go. See, little squares. So you can just change what you want it to look like. And then, yeah, you could do, you know, lower alpha to make it the lowercase alphabet for your stuff for your ordered list. as opposed to numbers for your ordered list. So yeah, I'll do that. Create an ordered list. Oh, wait. Let's see, lowercase alphabet, and then like other options too, like let's do Greek or Latin or whatever we want to do. So all sorts of options. Yeah, and you can even do an image for your list. So let's do this unordered list instead of having the style be square. Let's do list style image, and it's just going to be the only image I've got in here is heart logo. Oops. So URL to reference where it's at, and this CSS file is already in the static folder, so you can get rid of that. Oh, you gotta add quotes. And see, oh, where'd I go? So now it's using that as my thing, but let's do the, make it inside. Style position inside. Oops. And there you go. That's on the inside. So there's that. So you could add whatever image you want for your bullet points or whatnot. And then you can also do shorthand of doing the type, the inside, outside, and the image. And they're doing none, but if we wanted to then add the image, you just do those three in a row. So instead of like specifying all the stuff, so like let's just do, well, let's leave that because we got that there. List style. All in a row. So you're gonna want it. The type of no, never mind. Let's not use this. Let's do it just like that. So they're gonna want, all right. So we can do this square. Outside and no image. So then it's doing the square and just specifying the stuff in order. With the little shorthand instead of specifying all those together. Okay. Now let's go ahead and style. some tables. Have any tables? No. So let's go ahead and copy this. And then copy this. So for all tables. Oh, I didn't save it. So see, it's doing this little cool stuff where it's separating the border and then it's adding some spacing in between the stuff on the table, and like you can adjust it. Make it smaller, however you want it. And this is just adding the caption to the top. So all right, let's go ahead and throw that in there. So if top or bottom, but we'll start with the top because it's specifying the caption right here, right? So that it's like different than the rest. So you know, like what's the like the title or whatnot of what you're doing, right? So this. So it's putting the caption at the top, or we could throw it at the bottom. So now it's on the bottom, even though in the HTML, it's right here. Well, we just use the CSS to throw the caption at the bottom instead. So yeah, if you just want to hide empty cells, and then there's nothing there for the empty cell, as opposed to see, now it's got the border and stuff there. So oops. All right.
Taking a video.
Yeah. That's all kinds of crazy. But yeah, so with it fixed, it's all kind of blurs together as opposed to, you know, auto, then it's you know, just extends the row out. So yeah, I mean, if you want it to be able to, you know, overlap onto it, then and just like it be the set space and whatnot, well, there you go. But usually you wouldn't do that. I don't know if you want your links to look different. Then when you like, so this is actually pretty useful. When you hover, they're starting to introduce you to hover. You'll use hover a lot for links, just to like style it different, not just with color, but like with, like you can make it look like it's like, you know, pressing in, like when you get to some more advanced CSS stuff. And there's all sorts of stuff you can do. Like you can change your cursor. I don't know if they talk about that, but there's all sorts of stuff you can do. So hold on, let's go ahead and throw this in here. Let's just get rid of this table stuff. Get rid of all this stuff. I might not end up using the first div stuff. So now when you hover over it, it's red, as opposed to if we didn't have that. You know, doesn't really do anything other than your mouse kind of, you want to click here. Okay, so yeah, if you don't want the underline, because like normally when you have a link, it just naturally underlines it. But if you don't want an underline, then you just do your link text decoration none. and then no underline, but it's still a link that you could click. Almost done with this one. Oh, they are talking about customizing the mouse cursor. Okay, so throw that in there. So if you set your style to help, and look, it's got that cool little question mark for help when you hover over it. So, and there's all sorts of different, options you could use here. So like, let's choose weight. Waiting. And and other options. And then always your default value, like just the natural, line there, like it comes with if we didn't have this. Well, there you go. And the last thing is the quiz. And I don't go over the quiz, but if you have any questions and you get stuck on the quiz, I'm happy to help explain, especially if they do like trick questions or whatnot. Just let me know. But that's it. So what's today? I'll see you tomorrow too, Ray. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you very much. I really I'm happy I stayed. I see some things that I know, some things I'm just like, it's just, yeah. Okay. Something that I've seen before. I have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.